You've heard it everywhere. Men are checking out. Men are giving up. Men are done. And the narrative goes one of two ways. Either men are broken or men are finally waking up. But here's what no one is actually saying. The men who walked away from the chase didn't give up on relationships. They gave up on a version of themselves that was never working. And if you've ever done everything right, been consistent, been present, been patient, and still watched her pull away, what I'm about to show you isn't advice. It's a pattern you've been living inside without ever seeing it. Think about the last time you were really invested in someone. You showed up, you checked in, you rearranged your schedule, you made yourself available almost always. And somewhere in the middle of all that effort, the energy changed. She became harder to reach, more distracted, less certain. And you worked harder. Because that's what you were taught. Show up. Prove it. Don't stop. Here's what no one is telling you. The effort wasn't the problem. The source of the effort was. There is a difference between a man who gives because he is full and a man who gives because he is afraid of what happens if he stops. One feels like strength. The other feels like desperation. And she felt it, even when you couldn't see it yourself. This is where this gets dangerous. Because the men who are done with relationships in 2026, most of them aren't really done with women. They're done with the fear that was driving them. And that distinction will change everything about how you move from here. Here's the first thing most men never realize. When you become completely predictable, always available, always ready, always there, you don't register as safe to her. You register as certain. And certainty, in the psychology of attraction, is the slow death of desire. Research from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology confirms that uncertainty about a partner's feelings actually increases preoccupation and perceived attraction. That's not a game. That's not a tactic. That's how the human mind is wired. A man with his own direction, his own life, his own rhythm, creates contrast, and contrast creates attention. But predictability is only the surface layer. The second one cuts right to the root. Ask yourself this honestly. How many decisions did you make in that last relationship with one eye on how she would respond? What you wore, what you said, whether you spoke up or stayed quiet. When a man begins measuring himself through her reaction, he has handed her the wheel of his inner life. Dr. Brené Brown's research on shame resilience is clear. When a man's sense of worth becomes conditional on external approval, he doesn't become lovable. He becomes exhausting. Not because he's a bad man, but because a woman cannot be your emotional oxygen and your equal at the same time. She doesn't want to be the reason you feel worthy. She wants to discover a man who already knows he is. And here's where this flips. We are living in the most distracted era in human history. Her phone has 50 men competing for her attention. Notifications, matches, DMs, an endless scroll of possibility. And most men, us without realizing it, are competing inside that noise. More messages, more check-ins, more trying. But here's what no one explains. In a world of infinite options, the scarcest thing isn't availability. It's a man who doesn't need to compete. A man who isn't performing for her feed. Who isn't crafting the perfect message. Who isn't tracking her read receipts, like his confidence depends on them. That man, the one who is genuinely absorbed in something bigger than her response, stands out in a way that no message ever could. And now, here's the part that changes everything. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. There's a man. He's been consistent. He's been devoted. He has bent his entire schedule around a woman who keeps telling him she needs time. And one day, not out of anger, not as a tactic, he simply goes back to his own life. He returns to his work, his training, the project he abandoned 6 months ago. He stops checking in. not to punish her, but because he finally remembers he had a life worth living before she showed up. And here's the reversal nobody prepares you for. She starts thinking about him differently, not because he's playing hard to get, but because his gravity changed. He stopped being a man waiting for her answer. He became a man with his own direction. And that is the purpose paradox. The more genuinely absorbed a man becomes in his real mission, the more compelling he becomes, not as a strategy, but as a byproduct. Research from evolutionary psychologist Dr. David Buss consistently shows that ambition, purpose, and direction rank among the highest long-term attraction signals across cultures and generations. The man who is least focused on attracting her is often the most compelling thing in her world. Most men miss this completely. Here's the hidden code. She thought his availability meant devotion. It actually meant doubt. Doubt that he was enough without constant effort. And the moment he stopped performing was the moment she finally saw a man who believed in his own worth. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So let me be direct with you. The men who are done with relationships in 2026 are not bitter. They are not broken. They are not giving up. The ones worth watching are the ones who finally stopped operating from fear. They stopped trying to earn their way into someone's life with unlimited access and boundless effort. And they started doing something far more powerful. They built something, not for her, for themselves. Your purpose is not a distraction from love. It is the foundation that makes you capable of it. A man who knows where he is going doesn't need to prove it. He just goes, and the right woman will notice. Most men will watch this and go right back to waiting for a signal, but not you. If you're done performing for approval and ready to build from the inside out, drop a comment right now. I am grounded. Let the community see who is actually doing the work. Subscribe if you're ready to become the man you were built to be. And if you know a brother who's caught in this right now, send him this. Today, not tomorrow. Stay strong, stay grounded, keep building. I'll see you in the next one.